Good morning, everybody. This is Dana. Welcome back to my channel. And today's project is going to be how I create journals or albums utilizing and recycling packaging. Now, I posted these this was a cover I just did the other night, and this was a journal that I made a couple months back. And I posted these on social media, and I've gotten so many requests to do a tutorial on how I created these, and you won't even believe how simple it is. So let me just show you. This is just a cover. Over the weekend, I had gotten this beautiful paper pad from Tuesday Morning, and I couldn't sleep that night, and I had to do something with that beautiful paper. So I just took, this was a granola bar box, and I just broke the box down and utilized the spine that was already there and just covered it with paper. And I'll probably turn this into some kind of journal. So that's that. Isn't that paper gorgeous? And I'm going to be using this paper pad today, so I'll show you what that is. This is one I created for myself. I was going to spend the summer going through the Psalms, and I wanted a special notebook to be able to do that in. So this was a stuffing box, just stovetop stuffing. And it just opens like that. I put a button there so that I could close it. And what I did was, this was Tim Holtz paper. So what I did was I used just mostly papers. There's a few decorative pages in here, mostly on the outside of the signature and the inside of the signature. And then in between is just paper that you can write on. Coffee dyed paper, masking paper. I've got more, this was colored paper that I coffee dyed. Just paper that can specifically just be written on, that has no design on it, really. Okay, so that's what I did there. And this is this one that I created. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how I cover them. So this is just a stuffing box. It's the exact same size as this one, I think. Let me slip this in. Yeah, it's not stovetop, but it's the exact same size. I mean, all I've done to begin with is I broke the box down to where I just had the outside, because one side of the box is glued, like this flap is glued. So that's the side I removed. This is the side that's intact. And then I just cut all of the little flaps off the edges. And that's what I ended up with. Okay? So the paper pad that I'm using today, I did find it Tuesday Morning. And I loved it so much that I went searching through all the stacks to try and find a second one. And I couldn't. If I had found a second one, I would have gotten it. But this was the only one that they had. And it's by K & Company. And let's see if there's I don't see an actual name of the paper pad. It looks like it's by Susan Wingett, specialty paper. No, I don't see a name on it. This is gorgeous, and it's double-sided. Isn't this beautiful? This is the one that I used on the on this one. Look at these daisies. I'm using this sheet today. I chose that one. Isn't it gorgeous? Oh my gosh, this is just beautiful. I fell in love with this. I couldn't believe I found it there, and when I saw it, like I said, I searched every stack for a second one, and I couldn't find one. I was so bummed. But I'm not a paper hoarder. You know, we buy beautiful paper so that we can use it. And, well, some of us do. Not all of us. Some of us. So these are the two sheets that I'm going to use today. I'm going to utilize this as my cover. and this is going to be my the inside paper. So what I do is I don't really measure. Let me take this edge off the paper. So that I know what I'm working with. Now, in looking at this paper, I want this image to be on the front of my journal. So I'm going to turn the paper this way. This is not right side up. This was on the top, but I still think it looks okay like this. And I want this part here. Okay, so I'm going to just lay that on there. I know that's how I want it to be, and I'm going to flip this over. Okay, now this looks like it's not going to completely cover with enough room on each side. So what I'm going to do, let me just explain. You need to have enough, like, at the bottom, I would place this like right about here. I'm not even in frame. There we go. I'm leaving myself about an inch to wrap over. And you see that I don't have that on the sides here because it's just 12 inches wide. So what I'm going to do is start off by just taking off 1/4 of an inch on each side and see what that gives me. On the one with the granola box that I did, like, it was way too big. So, because it was like this is a 12 by 12 paper here. So look how much, like, it was way short in order to cover that, see? So that's why I cut the piece and then cut it in half, and then I added the spine here so that I could utilize that paper on each side and I wouldn't have to meet it in the middle. That's why I put a spine on this one. Okay, let's see how we are now. Okay, it's not great, but it's enough. I'm going to make that work because I don't want to cut it down anymore. Okay. So what I'm going to do is take a pencil and just make a mark for myself of where I need to cut this. About right there. And that's why you can measure if you want. I just find this faster. So I'm just going to line that up and trim that side off. I want to see where I am here. Sorry. Just kind of doing my view here so I can make sure that I'm in camera for you guys. I know that I can get really bad about that. So, that was a sigh of relief. I thought I had cut the wrong side off and cut my flowers off. Oh, goodness gracious. That would have been terrible. Okay, so this is going to fit on here just like this. Okay. So what we're going to do is, now, you can use several things. You can Mod Podge it. I don't like to use Mod Podge on my covers, and I'll tell you why. When I'm just doing paper, if I'm doing napkin and book page and stuff like that, the texture's fine. But when using this cardboard, I find that heavy glue like Mod Podge, it makes it buckle, okay? And it makes the paper wrinkle. And I don't like that. So I just want to make sure that I'm right side up. Do you see how that flower was meant to be up here because this is upside down? But I'm going to utilize it over here. I keep double checking. Okay, so all I'm going to do is take my art glitter glue. And I'm just going to put it all over. And I am using the fine metal tip. This would go faster if I didn't use the fine metal tip, but like I said, I don't want too much glue because I don't want my paper to buckle and I don't want my chipboard to buckle. I want to try and keep it as flat as I can. So I'm just working fast because this art glitter glue dries really fast. So I'm just working as fast as I can, and I'm making sure that I especially get glue on those score marks where it bends on the spine. I want to get glue down in there. Okay, we'll get this part here. Okay. This is a great idea and way to just kind of recycle some of your packaging. I have made albums out of just this thin, lightweight chipboard from packaging, but I will say an album carries some weight to it because it's got your hinges and all of your pages and things like that. So what I do when I'm making an album, I'm just going to kind of center this on here. So if you're going to use it for an album, what I typically do is I will double it. I'll glue 2 pieces together and then use that. I'm going to use my bone folder here, and I am just going to really press this down. I'll really get that glue to make contact everywhere. Spread that glue out. Especially making sure my edges are down. All right. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm just going to clip my corners. Now, do not clip right up against the chipboard here, okay? You want to leave some space. Let me see if I can get that for you. See how I did not go all the way? You don't want to clip all the way or your chipboard won't get covered. So I'm just going to run through this and do this. All right, now the next step I'm going to take, you can take either your bone folder. I'm just going to use my scoring stylus here with the smaller edge. And I'm going to run down the side, touching the chipboard. And I'm scoring the paper so that it will bend over easily when we go to fold over. Okay? So just scoring that paper. And if you're new to crafting, basically when you score paper, it breaks the fiber of the paper. Okay, so it bends easier. Okay. So now that we've got that done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each side and I'm going to fold it completely over, training the paper where I want it to go. So that when we add glue, they'll be really easy to glue down. And that's where the scoring really helps. It helps it fold over nicely. So you're not having to fight with it. When you have to, if you don't score it and you're fighting with your paper, you don't really get a clean fold. So you want to make sure to get a clean fold. It's just going to make your cover look a lot nicer. There. Okay. Now, starting with the long side, I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to put it right up next to the chipboard and run. That's going to be my first line of glue. Getting it right up next to that chipboard. And then all over the flap here. Okay. And then I'm going to take my bone folder. I'm going to pull my paper up. And what I'm going to do before I press this down is I'm just going to run it along the side, making sure that my paper gets flat up against the edge of the chipboard. Then I'll take it and I'll press the sides down. There. And see, we have a nice clean edge. Okay, we'll do the same thing over here. My first line will be right up next to the chipboard because I want to make sure that I've got glue on all the edges. Okay. And now the rest of the flap. All right. Taking my bone folder first, right up against, making sure my edge of my paper is making contact with the chipboard. And then just folding that down. And then running over it with my bone folder just to make sure there's good contact everywhere. All right, now for the short flaps, we're going to take care of those corners. And I'll show you how to get a nice clean corner. Okay, see where we have this little pocket? Right there? We're going to tuck that in, okay? So I'm going to take the tip of my bone folder right on here, and I'm literally just going to pinch that in the slightest amount. Let me show this to you. I just pinched that in just the slightest amount. I'm going to do that on each corner. Just going to pinch this in. Now I'm going to run glue up against the chipboard. And then over the flap. Put this down, I got the shakes this morning. Okay, then I'm going to make sure I've got contact against the edge of the chipboard. And then I'm going to fold this over. And I'll bring this up and show you, once I get this down, how nice of a corner we get from that. We don't have anything kind of poking out. We've got no little pointies. It just looks nice and clean. Okay, we're going to do that to the other side. I'm going to take this and pinch it in. Pinch that in. Run glue against the chipboard. And then onto the flap. And then run our bone folder against the edge, making contact. And then folding it over. Perfect. And that's what it looks like on the inside. And here's what it looks like on the outside. Isn't that beautiful? Our corners are nice and they're just, this paper's so gorgeous. Now, what I do next is I take the edge of my bone folder, okay, and what I do is I lightly run it across the top of the edges of the chipboard. Now, what this does is it makes everything, it flattens that side out. Makes it look a whole lot more professional. Okay, and because we put the glue there, it'll flatten out really nicely for you. All right. Now here's what we have. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to cut our inside front cover piece. We want to cover this up. Okay, so I'm going to use this beautiful, like, viney paper, and here's where I'm going to take my pencil, and what I want is I want about 1/8 of an inch all the way around, and just eyeballing it. I'm not going to measure. I'm going to make sure my paper's straight. This doesn't look completely straight. There we go. And then I'm just going to make a mark here. And here. And then I'm just gonna, that's where I'm gonna cut. I'm just lining it up in my trimmer where I made the mark and cutting those pieces out. All right. Now this will fit in here like this. And that looks really nice. Okay, what I'm gonna do first, just because it's me, you guessed it, I'm going to ink the edges of my paper. Because I like that look, and I think it really goes nicely with this paper pad. So I'm just using Distress ink and Vintage Photo. This is actually Distress Oxide. I really like that oxide. Because once I glue, why I'm doing this ahead of time is once I glue this piece down, I can't get to the edges of it to distress it. So you need to distress it beforehand if that's the look that you want. Oh, that looks so pretty distressed. I'll hold this up so you can see it when I'm done. And I just think that makes such a difference. It really makes it kind of pop. You know, especially if you've got colors that you're putting up next to each other that kind of blend into each other a little bit. Okay, see what a difference that makes when you distress it. The look is completely different. Okay, now all we're gonna do is glue this down. Okay, so I'm gonna take my glue. And get glue all over. Especially, and get as close to the edge as you can. You want your edges to glue down really nicely. You don't want edges popping up. So I'm getting just as close to the edge as I can. And then, Butterfingers this morning. I'm just filling that in with glue. I really like this fine metal tip, but I have to say when you're doing a large area, it can be kind of a pain. Okay, so now I'm going to get this put on. I'm just eyeballing to make sure that I'm straight. And then I'm taking my bone folder. You have to just work quick. That's why I'm trying to work really quick. That art glitter glue dries so fast. And what did I get on there? Darn it. That art glitter glue dries super fast. So doing a large piece, I should have just kind of done it a little bit at a time. That's what I did on my other one. So if you run into that issue and it's taking a little more time, just glue down a piece at a time and then reach under and put more glue. That's what I did with my other one, and I think it went better. Okay, that's our inside cover. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, that looks so pretty. So pretty. Now we get to fold and see what we're gonna do. How it's gonna turn out. Where's my pin glue? There it goes. This is the part that always makes me nervous because the cracking of paper is a real problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently, I can see kind of where the score lines are in that cover that we covered. So what I'm going to do is take the edge of my bone folder. I'm gonna gently lift until, and see, I already see paper popping up. We're gonna have to add more glue until I can see where it is. I can see where it is here, so I'm just running my bone folder down that fold. I didn't get enough glue on there. It's buckling up. Oh well. And then now I'm going to, so you can see my paper popping up. I didn't get enough glue in there. Darn it. And now I'm just gonna bring that fold over. And I'm gonna press with my bone folder. Now, the reason you can fold all the way over with this is because it is just, it's just lightweight chipboard, okay? I can see my paper did start to crack here just a little bit. That doesn't bother me because I'm probably gonna take lace to my spine anyway. So you can always cover that up. So don't worry, if it cracks a little bit, just put something over your spine. I mean, I used, okay, pretend the spine here is lace. Just cover it with lace or another piece of paper, or there's always a way to cover up. And because this print just kind of wraps all the way around, I'll probably just go ahead and put lace over that anyway. I mean, you can barely see it, but I will cover it. I'll put lace over it. Okay, so that's one side. Now the other side, I'm gonna do the same thing until I can really gauge where that score line is. I'm just gonna lift. And there I can see it now. So I'm gonna take and press down as I lift. So right against that score line and press down as I lift. Also, I folded mine all the way over on the other side. You don't have to do that. There's no reason that you have to do that. I'm not sure why I did that, but you don't have to. So now I've got a good bend. See, now with this one, I'm not gonna do it because I know my paper cracked on the other side. I'm just not gonna do it all the way because really it's just gonna fold like this far. It's not like you're gonna wrap all the way around with it. I just like my covers to be loose. Loosey-goosey. I see I've got glue. I see how I've got puckering here of my paper. So I'm just gonna stick the tip of my glue is not coming out. There we go. And I'm just gonna add glue in there and get that put down there. See if we've got, nope, the other side's fine. All right, and that's what we have. There's our cover of our next journal. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, I just love that paper so much. Okay, and there's the end side. So here's the next question for me to you. So here's the two covers I made. Granola box, stuffing box. Here's the finished one I've got with all the pages in it. So the question I have for my subscribers, all of you who are watching this video, is, do you want to see the rest of the process? Do you want to see me pick papers and add papers and sew in signatures like this one? You can see on the spine I've got 3 signatures in here. Is that something you're interested in, seeing the rest of the process of how we turn this into actually a usable journal? So if you want to see that, comment below and I'll make it Wednesday's video. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. If you already know how to do it or aren't interested in that, it's no big deal. But if you are interested and I have enough interest in it, I'll go ahead and make it Wednesday's video where we go ahead and finish this journal up and put papers in it and sew in signatures. And that's it for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I had many requests wanting to know how I did this. So it's as simple as that. Super simple to be able to recycle a box and make it into something really pretty. So as always, I hope you have a wonderful day and God bless.